Hello friends, I am Abby and today I am setting up my 2021 bullet journal. All of the spreads at the beginning of the bullet journal that really just get me started for the year. For my spreads at the beginning of my bullet journal, I was heavily influenced by Julianne Doodles, PlantBasedBride, and Amandarachlee here on YouTube. They all had such interesting and beautiful designs, so I took a little bit from each of them and made it my own. For my quote page this year, I just wrote, "Dear 2021, we believe in you." Honestly, I'm not sure it could get worse from 2020, so we are keeping our hopes up in this house that things will get better. We believe in 2021 being a better year. In this little box, I am practicing some flower doodles. You'll see me right now decide that I don't like it and I wanted to change it up, so I replaced it with this craft paper and used a more simple doodle over top of it. And I've changed a few things in this bullet journal just because I'm experimenting. I didn't go in with much of a plan, and once I started, I decided to change it up. So I decided to add in a more simple floral doodle rather than the more intricate one. And then at the top, just a simple reminder to breathe. Next, I'm setting up my grid spacing spread. I use kind of a cheat sheet that was created by Amandarachlee, and I don't use this as much as some people do, but I do find myself flipping toward it every once in a while. And so all I'm doing is I glued in a piece of craft paper that's folded in half. I cut out a piece of my bullet journal paper from the back of the bullet journal and just glued it in there. This way, as you can see, when it's opened and flipped out, I can see the cheat sheet while working on whatever page I'm working on, rather than having to flip back and forth. The way this grid spacing cheat sheet works is I count how many spaces are on each page, and then I give myself a cheat sheet for what would be half or what would be 1/4, so that when I'm making my weekly spreads or setting up a new spread, I don't have to do that division in my head. I can just count it out. As you can see, I'm using this new tool that I just got over Christmas break, and it makes circles, which I'm absolutely loving, and I'm trying to find new ways to use it in my bullet journal. This is my kind of main quote page for the year, and I chose a quote from the book and the musical Les Miserables, and the quote is, "Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise." I think this quote just gives me, as my little musical theater soul, some positive energy, some positive thoughts as I go into 2021. As I mentioned, and as everybody knows, 2020 did not meet the expectations I set for it or that I had for the year. It was very disappointing in a lot of ways and very hard in many other ways, and I'm just ready for this darkest night to end and the sun to rise. And I think that staying positive and focusing on New Year, some more positive thoughts will help me get there. Next up is the spread that took the longest amount of time, and that was my future log spread. I decided to do what Amandarachlee did to set up her 2021 bullet journal, where she created these tabbed, almost like a mini book in her bullet journal to set up her months. I was just really inspired by that, and it gave me something new to try. And since I do refer to my future log quite often, I thought that it would add a little variety to what I have been doing in the past. So what I did was I cut off, as you can see, at the end of these pages and cut little tabs. I cut the tops off of the pages as well, and each little flip will hold 2 months. So total, when looking at a page, it will hold 4 months of the year, which should get me through the entire year. And then I'm just coloring the tabs so I can easily find them. Again, you can see me trying out a different type of font, which I decide halfway through I don't like and decide to change it. This is something I do often because I do like to wing it in my bullet journal as often as possible. And just an easy way to fix this is to find a piece of paper, a colorful piece of paper or something, and glue right on over it and do whatever you were intending to do on top of that paper, which in the end I ended up loving. What I'm doing now is I am using the 3 different main colors I chose to set up this bullet journal spread to draw flowers all around the future log pages. I am drawing different varieties of flowers with different angles, and I will use 2 different green Tombow dual brush pens to add accents to that. And at the very end, I use my Pigma Micron pen to add some little details around it as well. This really was all experimentation. I was figuring out what kind of flowers I liked, what angles I enjoyed drawing, spacing out the flowers in different ways. I learned a lot while setting this spread up, and it made me excited to add more floral elements in the future. And then I'm just writing the months in. Off camera, I added in all of the months using my new erasable pens, which really came in handy because I inevitably will make a mistake when adding in the days of the month, and that erasable pen really helped me minimize the amount of mistakes that I had to cover up, since I could just erase it and rewrite it. I'm adding more of those floral elements in the bottom corner of this next page. And this is my goals spread for 2021. I have 3 different categories for the goals that I'm setting this year. I have lifestyle, work, and personal goals, and I will fill those out as I get started in my year and settle on what I want my goals to be. This next spread is my weight loss tracker, and this is the one that I do wish I had planned out a little bit more before starting, because it did take me the longest, and I love it in the end, but setting it up was definitely very stressful. This box in the middle is where each week, so you can see I labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the weeks in the month, and each week on Sunday I weigh myself and do a quick check-in. I'm drawing some flowers up in the corner to kind of mimic what's going on in the bottom left corner of the goals page. I'm using my little circle maker to add in a bunch of circles, which you'll see me kind of hesitate as I get to the bottom because I miscalculate how many to add, but it's not a big deal. I just added in a few extra circles. And this weight loss tracker is kind of like a maze, so I'm adding connecting lines to show the direction that these circles go in as I'm filling them out. I won't fill in the numbers because nobody needs to know how much I weigh or how much I want to weigh, but the goal is to fill in the numbers in each of those circles, and as I lose weight, to fill the circle in with a pink Tombow dual brush pen. As you can see at the bottom, I used craft paper and a sort of simple black and white floral doodle, and then at the top I'm creating this header using the flower doodles that I did on the previous pages. Once again, you'll get to see me correct something that I didn't love, and that is writing headache tracker right onto the banner. I wish that I had started with this white paper so that I could kind of have that title pop out a little bit, but an easy fix. Once again, I just wrote it on a piece of paper, cut it out, and glued it in. And the way I use my headache tracker is across the top I have all the months of the year, and then I do dots that go all the way down to the bottom. So as you can see, I'm counting them out. Some go all the way to 31 if there are 31 days in the month. And I create these black dots. And then as I'm going throughout the month, if I do get a migraine or a headache, I just fill it in with a different colored marker. So I think for this year I chose green. Last year was gold. And I just kind of highlight what the little black dot of the day that I had my headache. This right page is very simple. It is just my wish list, and it's where I will put all the things that I want throughout the year, and hopefully next year I'll be more prepared with my wish list at Christmas time to let people know what I want as a gift. The left-hand side of that page I just set up was very simple. It just says Disney November 2021 because I do have a Disney trip planned. Brent and I are going with another couple over Thanksgiving break, and we're very excited. So that's kind of my planning page. And this page I'm working on now is my themes at a glance. So this is where I will put whatever theme the month was, so I can see them all at one glance. And that brings us to the end of setting up this 2021 bullet journal. I am so excited to start back over for the year and have a fresh new bullet journal to get started in. I definitely experimented more than I have in the past, and I experimented with trying new doodles, trying new design elements, and honestly just winging it a little bit more. I struggled in 2020 with wanting everything in my bullet journal to look perfect and be perfect, and that's just not a goal I want to take with me into 2021. So I am going to focus on being more lenient and just bullet journaling for fun in 2021. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.